Hi, I'm Bob Carroll. I'm the Executive Vice President at Permanent Solutions Labor Consultants, and I'm your host for Employee Relations Words of Wisdom. So today I'm talking to you about the coronavirus and what you can do as an employer and as an HR professional to help with the problem that we're seeing today. So last week, I attended a networking event with our local Chamber of Commerce where we co-chair the HR Roundtable, and I was joined by the president of the chamber who gave us an update from a phone call that involved all the chambers throughout the country and the White House with advice on what you can do as an employer to help control and contain the coronavirus problem or the COVID-19 problem that we're dealing with. First of all, the main message is we don't want to cause public panic. Okay, we've seen that happen around the world. We see it happening. I saw it in Italy. They're closing down the Louvre in France and attractions in France. We saw what happened in China. We don't want that here in the U.S. We want to control and contain. Listen, we've been through this before. We've done the bird flu, the swine flu, and I'll tell you a story. I personally contracted the swine flu back when that hit, and I remember it clear as day. It was awful. It was terrible, but I'm still here. I'm here talking to you right now. Okay? This virus, as far as they can tell, is really affecting people with immune deficiencies and heart problems, respiratory problems, and people with diabetes. And truth be told, if you go to the CDC's website, they don't know everything that you may hear on the news. In fact, I was just watching a video saying, really, you can't trust what's on the news because they are over sensationalizing the truth about what's going on with the virus and what's going on behind closed doors with the people responsible for controlling and containing it. So here's a few tips, though, that the president shared with us, the president of the chamber shared with us on what you as an employer can do. First of all, clean and disinfect your workplace more than you did before. Okay, if you weren't cleaning and disinfecting at all before, start doing it. If you were doing it before, do it more. Okay, you can't over clean. Disinfect doorknobs, lunch areas, break areas, restrooms, anywhere that employees share common spaces. Let your employees know that you care about them enough that you are going to take control of what you can in your workplace to ease the fears of your workers. If you have to travel, first of all, look at international travel. Postpone any international travel if it can be postponed. And also, look about here in the U.S. If you're traveling in the U.S., there are certain areas that are hit harder than others. If you have to travel to an area that is a hot zone, you may want to postpone that trip as well. I'm not saying that we want, again, the whole point here is control, contain, and not have public panic. But if you're flying to an area that you know is a hot zone, do you really want to put yourself at risk and bring that back to your workplace and pass that on to your fellow employees or the people that you lead? No, you don't. So, we're in a time now where it's 2020. Allow your employees to telecommute. We're moving in that direction anyway. We're seeing more and more people telecommuting. If you have the ability, allow your employees to do it. Now, this isn't coming from me. This is coming from the call from the government to the chambers. And if the government's recommending this, I'm going to get behind it, and I recommend it as well. We at Permanent Solutions recommend it as well. It's very, very important. Again, the whole goal, control and contain. And if you are allowing people to telecommute, you got to remember that there are changes in laws coming up where you have to look at the classification of your employee. Are they exempt or are they hourly? Now, if they're hourly, you have to pay them for time worked at home. And that includes phone calls, emails. If they're working, and you got to pay them. So you need to have an accurate tracking system in place for that. And hopefully you've already started to prepare for this. But if you haven't, we'll have a link below to our website You can contact us or my email, bcarroll, CARROLL at pslabor.com. Remember, we are not attorneys, we are consultants, but we can certainly help guide you in the right direction and help you with changes in your handbook, because you're going to have to make changes in your handbook to accomplish this. And this one is the one that kind of hurts the most, but it's absolutely true. Let your employees stay home if they're sick. In fact, insist if they're sick, stay home. But there's a little rub to this. We don't want to overcrowd our healthcare system. In fact, I was sick a couple weeks ago. Made a call to my doctor, who I've been seeing for years, and got in every single time I've ever had to, and he would not see me. It's because the healthcare system is already starting to be overwhelmed and bogged down. So be aware that your employees may not be able to bring doctor notes in, and that's probably in your handbook. So again, you're going to have to make changes accordingly to your handbook to protect yourself. And you want to hold on to your good talent. And, the rub is, how do you get to employees to not take advantage of that change? Well, you got to do your best, is all I can tell you. It's a very difficult thing to address. Watch for patterns. Bottom line is, remember, we want to confine and contain this problem and not cause chaos in the U.S. We want to do our best as employers to keep our employees safe, to provide a safe environment for them, to provide a safe environment for your clientele, and to continue to have revenue coming into your company. And if your company is overloaded with sickness, you are not going to have that revenue stream. So you got to kind of bite the bullet on this one. This advice is coming from the government, and ultimately, I got to stand by them. I agree with them 100%. If they're sick, have them stay home. And specifically, they mentioned this. If you are a leader of a company, a CEO of a company, if you're sick, stay home. Lead by example. Listen, if Senator Ted Cruz, who just quarantined himself because he was around people that were exposed, is doing it, you can do it too. Just like your employees who can telecommute, you can hold meetings from home using the same technology. You as a leader, you can make that happen. So, I'm asking a lot of our leadership community, but at the end of the day, remember, I've said this 2 or 3 times, confine and contain and control the situation and not cause public panic. So those are some things that you can do to help ease the pain of what's going on with the coronavirus. So with that said, I hope that it was informational for you. I'm sure a lot of people have already received this information, but I wanted to make sure that everybody out there watching gets this information. I will have a link to the CDC website down below as well, especially the page that pertains to employers, because this is an evolving situation. By the way, on the same video that I watched earlier today, they don't think that there's going to be a vaccine for this virus for 18 months. So it's something that we have to consider to keep our business moving, keep our businesses moving. So with that said, I will see you next week on Employee Relations Words of Wisdom.